Hi and welcome on the Hands-On Time. My name is Mal and I'm doing watch reviews for you. So today I'm presenting to you with a lot of pride, because it's a French brand, Baltic. So we cannot speak about Baltic without talking about Etienne Malek, the creator of Baltic. So Etienne did experience something really sad, the loss of his father at 5 years of age. He didn't got the chance to know him, but wasn't aware at the time that this event would change the course of his life years later. So his father, that was of a Polish background, was a photographer. Not only he was collecting photography devices, but he was also a collectioner of old cars. And also, you've guessed it, of watches. So I completely understand that at the age of 15, Etienne discovering in a case more than 100 watches, with 50 of them being of interest, started something inside of his heart. His father left notebooks that were referencing all the numbers of the people he was exchanging watches with, but all the details about the watches themselves, where he found them, to whom he bought it from. So that put Etienne on his own quest inside of the world of horology to learn about watches. You would need a father at this age, and discovering that must have been for him something like Nathan Drake discovering the diary of Sir Francis Drake in Uncharted, you know? I'm sure, like a treasure. So that is how he got bugged by the virus of watches, but also the virus of old cars. So Etienne is a huge fan of the 40s, and you can feel it in his creation, being the MR01 with the Breguet numerals, or the Tricompax chronograph he did on partnership with Peter Otto that worked with Richard Mille, just for reference. You would find in his own collection watches like the Leap Breitling Copilot Chrono Venus 178, which is a mouthful of a name, I know, beautiful watch. You would find as well the Arbu chronograph from the 40s, and I've heard that his grail watch would be the Patek Philippe 2499. But I've also heard that he validated a watch dream, so maybe he owns it already, okay? Maybe he already got the watch. So the passion of cars from his father, and the hard gamer, yeah, you've heard me correctly, he was a gamer, and especially a gamer of cars, you know, gaming. So Need for Speed, if that rings a bell, or Gran Turismo, made him, you know, years later buy his own cars, like his father, you know, his father owned cars. And a long story short, he owns a 997 GT3 from Porsche and a 911 3.2 liters from 1989 Porsche as well, which is quite clearly the brand of his heart in terms of cars. His grail car might be still a dream that he virtually touched, you know, just virtually touched in Need for Speed, the game. But I'm sure that one day, you know, who knows, everything's possible, Etienne. So let's put the cost and specification behind us. So the cost of this watch in this configuration, which is the grain of rice bracelet configuration, would be 792 euros here in Paris. In terms of casing, they use 316L stainless steel. The excellent diameter of the watch is 39 millimeters, which means it's going to, you know, be wearable by a lot of wrist, and especially with the lug to lug distance of 47 millimeters. So excellent specification for small wrist with this watch. The thickness of the watch would be 13 millimeters, but 11 millimeters without the double dome glass. Okay, so if you take the double dome glass out, you are at 11 millimeters, and you will understand why later in the video. The bracelet would be 20 millimeters. The glass is a double dome glass sapphire crystal with inner anti-reflective coating, which is excellent, because when it's on the outside of the watch, it scratches, so it's not the case here. The bezel, 120 clicks for the bezel with sapphire crystal insert. So you've heard me correctly, the bezel insert is made out of sapphire, and I think that this is truly special, and I love it. So the dial, sunburst dial, sandwich style at 3, 6 and 9 o'clock. You will understand what that means. is later on the video, and it's another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful characteristic of the watch. They use Superluminova C1 on the hands and on the time markers. So in terms of heart, the movement, you know, the star of the day is the excellent Mayota 1939, a movement that I truly love. If you are a subscriber of mine, you know that I love this movement. It's a movement that is hackable. You have 42 hours of power reserve inside. It's a high beat movement that beats at 28,800 per hour, which means super accurate, you know, super precise. That's the high beat, you know, movement power, which translates into 8 times per second. In fact, so we have also a screwed down crown that guarantees the 200 meters of water resistance, which translates again into 20 atmospheres, which means you can dive with the watch, you can swim with the watch, you can do whatever the heck you want with the watch. It's wonderful. The bracelet, like I said before, is a grain of rice type of bracelet. Okay, with a double quick release system. So it's not a single one, it's a double quick release system. And they choose a deployant type of clasp for this, and they made the right choice. So guys, let's immediately unbox this thing. So you know I'm not about boxes, but I wanted to show you how Baltic is doing things where the shipment, which is crazy. So you see the Baltic reference just right there. And look at that. They know how to pack, isn't it? So let's get rid of this package. And let's see. Look at this box. The Baltic logo here. And a beautiful, you know, premium type of a box with beautiful waves everywhere. Beautiful, really nice. So, what's in the box?
What's in the box? Not till you give me the What's gun. In the fucking box?
Another box. Another beautiful box, by the way. So let's put it out. Here inside you have, I think, the manual and the warranty card. Let me get rid of this as well. And there you go, with the beautiful box of Baltic. And inside, a cushion with the watch. Beautiful, premium type of box, really nice. Really nice texture everywhere. So let me get rid of the box and let's immediately take a moment with the watch. As you can see, the first thing that immediately jumps into your eyes is this beautiful blue. This beautiful gilt sunburst blue, as they call it. You know, really, really, really nice, deep blue that makes you think about the ocean. So really nice. Let me try and focus for you, and let me try to catch that sunburst on the dial. I will film it with my smartphone, you know, to have a different type of quality, so you will be able to see it. So like I said in the specification, at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock you have a sandwich style type of markers. So let me try and focus for you on the markers. It's focusing on the bezel here, yeah. Here you can see it at 6 as well, and at 3 o'clock. So really nice touch as well. So they choose to put that beautiful, you know, yellow creamy type of color on the bezel and on the markers and the hands. Really, really nice. Accentuates, you know, the neo vintage, you know, retro style of watches that Baltic is trying to emulate here. Really, really beautiful, and they did success. Let me focus on the logo for you. So the Baltic logo, there you go, with the 12, the only Arabic number that they choose to put on the dial. The 12, beautiful. You have the Aquascaphe connotation. So aqua means water, of course, and scaphe means scaphandrier, which is the name of the ancient divers that were, you know, diving in the 30s, the 40s, you know, they were called scaphandrier. 200 meters of water resistance. No dates on this watch, and they did well because they choose instead to put, you know, a sandwich type of markers at 3 and at 6. So no dates, you know, on this watch. Really helps with the balance of the watch. I won't regret, you know, not having a date on this watch. Beautiful sapphire insert, like I told you. Unlike Seiko, you know, they choose to put sapphire in the insert. Seiko choose to put hard legs, which scratches. Here it's a sapphire, you know, type of insert. So look how it shines. Really nice, beautiful, won't scratch. Okay, let's play a little bit with this wonderful bezel. Okay, so no back play whatsoever on the bezel, and listen to this. How crisp it is. Love the sound. Really satisfying. Really nice. Honestly, the bezel is wonderful. Aligns perfectly, of course. And the sound of the bezel and the action is really satisfying. So let's have a look on the sides. On the sides we have the screwed down crown. They choose to put a different type of texture, you know, around the B of Baltic. So the pattern that they choose to put on the bezel, really nice as well. Really retro style. I love it. So the 11 millimeter of thickness of this beautiful, you know, brushed case. Really subtle brushing on the case. Love it as well. As you can see, sorry, there is traces of my hands, which is normal. I'm sweating because it's so hot in Paris, so sorry for that. So 11 millimeter of thickness without the dome. With the dome, it's gonna be 13. So you will understand why in a bit. A little bit of distortion with this wonderful double dome sapphire crystal creates a distortion that is really nice. So drilled lugs, as you can see, with a system. Let me unleash the deploy and clasp here, with a double quick release type of system on the bracelet. So it's not single, it's a first for me, it's a double one. You just pinch them on both sides and it releases this beautiful bracelet for you to put like a NATO strap if you want. So what do we have on the back? A diver, okay, with a wave pattern. So sapphire crystal, 20 atmospheres, stainless steel. Aquascaphe, the name of the watch. Let's turn it to read what's on the other side. So assembled in France, Baltic watches. Beautiful, really nice, screwed down, back, screwed back to guarantee, the 200 meters of water resistance of this beautiful tool watch. Really nice. Let me show you the other side. So the same as the other, brushed with the drilled lugs. I'm really trying to focus here. It's really hard today and I'm sorry for that. So let's have a look at the beautiful bracelet. They call it the grain of rice bracelet because obviously, this makes you think about grains of rice. This bracelet is just tremendously beautiful as well. Scissor type of fermoir, of clasp, and the clasp is of course brushed in the middle and chromed on the side with the logo of Baltic. Beautiful watch, and I promise you I'm gonna do, with my smartphone another film it with another angle for you to see, to catch the entire beauty of this watch. So how would you wear this watch? Well, super simple. Everything. This could be your only watch. You can wear this watch with a suit, casual chic, casual as well. This watch is that beautiful, and it honestly looks way more than it costs, So you can go with everything that you want with this watch, quite simply. So the good and the bad, what's good, what's bad about this watch. So for me, you know, I'm in love with the watch. So for me, everything is good about the watch, quite simply, okay? But I've heard here and there, you know, people talking about some things that weren't that good about the watch. So let's talk about it. So first, there's the movement. So, you know, some people I've heard, you know, on videos that they think that Mayota, you know, is not a good company, and that the movement they choose to put inside is not a good movement. So that is, honestly, in my humble opinion, total BS, okay? So the Mayota 9039 is the premium movement, one of the premium movements of Mayota. You know, it's a high beat movement, 28,800 beats per hour. You know, the movement inside is so thin, you know, because Mayota created a really thin movement. That's how Baltic achieved the 11, you know, millimeter of thickness of this watch. This watch is super thin, as you can see, and super refined because of that movement. Okay, because of the movement, the case on the inside, they choose that movement for that, I'm sure. So it's a movement that is truly, you know, if well regulated, of course, like any movement, super precise. It's a movement that will lose only 1 second per day, guys. So the movement is absolutely wonderful. They created the movement to counter-attack the ETA 2824, and they did it. They beat it on the power reserve, and they beat it on the thinness of the movement. So what the heck are they talking about? You know, so the only thing I will have to admit is that the Mayota movements are not the most beautiful movement in the world. Okay, so here we don't care because the movement is hidden. Okay, but go and have a look, you know, on my Kuo Japan, you know, watch, which uses the same movement, and they actually decorated the movement. So even that, you know, is not true, and the movement is actually beautiful, you know. So go and take a look, you know, at my Kuo 008, you know, watch from Japan, which is beautiful, like this one. So the other thing I've heard, and that was like honestly a joke for me, is the watch is not legible. The watch is not legible. Ha ha ha. I mean, if this is not legible, I don't know what is, you know. So this, I'm not gonna expand, you know, on the subject because it's just like total BS as well. The watch is super legible. Go and see my Siga Design, you know, Blue Planet review on the Siga Design watch, and you will understand what a non-legible watch is, you know. That one is super legible. So what else have I heard? You know, I've heard about the clasp. So on the ancient version about the clasp of Baltic, you didn't have like these two pushers, okay? That wasn't there. So I've heard people complaining about the fact that the clasp was opening on its own, okay? When the people were like moving like this, boom, the clasp would open, you know, on its own. So I never had the clasp on my hand. I don't know if it's true, you know. But the thing is that Baltic immediately responded because Baltic listens to the customers. So they responded by putting this clasp instead, you see? So now, ancient history, the clasp is completely secured, and you don't have like this type of trouble with the clasp. So yeah, that's it for the good and the bad. So for me, this watch is absolutely wonderful. The only problem that we had before was the clasp, and it's something that is no longer the case. So what is bad with the watch? Nothing. This is an absolute gem, you know, an absolute beauty of a watch, of a tool watch. Wonderful, honestly. And this is, for me, okay, the best alternative to the BB58 from Tudor, you know, the Black Bay 58. So another thing that Baltic did well is to put this, you know, micro adjustment on the clasp. It's wonderful, okay? So every brand should do that. Because just so you know, I didn't do anything with the watch. I just got it out, you know, out of the box. Just put the micro adjustment, not at the end, but on the one before. And there you go, it was sized. So wonderful. Let's have a wrist shot. So 16.5 centimeter of circumference my wrist are. And let me show you how it looks. There you go. Okay, 47 millimeters of lock-to-lock distance. This watch is 39 millimeters casing. The case is, sorry. So look how it looks. It's wonderful. It looks beautiful. Any small wrist, go for it. Any small wrist, you have a small wrist, you're looking for one of the most beautiful diver I ever had in my hands, go for it. It's really, really, really comfortable. And I love this clasp. I love this bracelet. I mean, the grain of rice bracelet is so exquisitely comfortable. You really need to try to understand. It's really, really, really comfortable. Look how it stands. So easy to adjust with the micro adjustments, you know, on the watch. And it's immediate, honestly, beautiful. Look at that. Look how beautiful this is. Stands beautifully on the wrist. Looks absolutely premium. Way, way, way much more than what it costs, you know. Awesome watch, awesome watch. I really like Kuo from Japan. I really love the catalog, you know, of Baltic. I am not, you know, afraid to say that I basically love all of their watches. Really, really nice brand. They are doing wonders. Really, really nice. 16.5 centimeter. Look at that. I guess with even a 15, you know, centimeter of a circumference, you can go with this watch. Really nice, really well adjusted. You know, I always let a pinky finger for me, you know, but here my wrist is completely expanded because of the hotness in Paris. So super comfortable, even with that weather. Really nice. I let it slip a little. You see, it slips super, super easily. God, that watch is beautiful. Really, really nice. There you go for the wrist shot. So the lume, as you can see, is quite good. They've applied lume everywhere. Tremendously generous on the hands. So what do you think? It's not supercharged, but it's wonderful. You have lume on the bezel, you have lume on the indices, everywhere. I really dig Superluminova. It's a really nice lume. So final thoughts are easy. Go for it, you know, small wrist, big wrist. You want something refined, you want the best alternative to the BB58 from Tudor, for example, you know, go for this watch. This watch is so beautiful, so refined. I love the, you know, the neo vintage type of spirit, the aura that the watch has. This grain of rice configuration, you have to take this bracelet with it, you know. It's so comfortable and so well made and upgraded now, you know, no more trouble with this clasp. Okay, the clasp is like super sturdy now, so no worries whatsoever. Really, 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 really nice watch. A big surprise for me, and beautiful. I love this brand. Have you noticed throughout the video I never said micro brand, because for me Baltic now is a brand, okay, for me. It's that beautiful, you know. And so proud, you know, to present like a French brand, you know, on my channel. Yema, Lip, Baltic, you know, Montre Charlie, like all these brands, you know, really need to be more known to the public, because they are doing wonders, honestly, and especially with this watch. Beautiful. And I love, by the way, I love all the catalog of Baltic watches, like Kuo, and this is really rare, you know. The only other brand is Kuo Japan. I love all their watches as well, and the same with Baltic. So yeah, really nice. What Etienne Malek did is wonderful. And for the last words, I would say, you know, in French, Etienne, continue de rêver, parce que ce que tu fais est vraiment fantastique. Donc t'arrêtes pas, s'il te plaît. So there you go. Guys, like, subscribe, comment if you want, you know, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.